Carrie's on.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Look at me. I'm ready.
Love it.
I'm so in trouble. I had to bail on the last call.
I know. I was like, where the heck's Megan?
I had to brush my teeth. I had broccoli and kale in my teeth.
Hilarious.
My kids are like, are you on your call? I'm like, okay, I need to go hide in the basement.
That's too funny.
Okay, so is this picture clear enough? Are we good?
Yeah, you're clear enough. We're gonna wait like one more minute because people are just now getting on. More and more people are getting on, so we're just gonna give it another minute and then we'll go for it.
Okay, cool.
And I'm waiting for Olivia. She stole my earbuds. Okay, I'm so she literally took my earbuds and went for a walk, and so I had to call her and get back here now because I don't have any other earbuds, and I'm afraid I'm gonna wake up Van. Teenagers, I swear. Let's see. Okay, cool. So we got, more and more people hopping on here. So we're just gonna 30 more seconds and we'll start for the sake of time. We don't want to go over.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me talk for more than 30 minutes.
Yeah. No, we could listen to you for an hour, Megan.
It would just be too much. People would be like, oh, cut her off.
Hilarious. No, never, ever, ever. I'm going to hit, oh, you know what? This is cool. I set it up so that when the Zoom call started, so when I got on, it starts recording automatically. I love that feature. So I'll never, ever forget to record a Zoom call ever again.
Oh, you can forget this one. It's okay. No. I'm not going to look it up. I might delete it by accident.
Too funny. Okay. So it is 9:01. We are going to go ahead and get started. You guys, welcome to tonight's team call. This is super exciting because we have a very special guest speaker, Megan DeBora. And if you guys don't know her, she is a badass. Those are the two words that describe her the most. She is a mom of 4. She's married. She is a diamond coach. She is a certified CrossFit gymnastics instructor. She teaches Insanity. She also teaches the Ninja Warrior kids classes. So it's kind of like the American Ninja Warrior version, but for kids. She's also a course tester 2 years in a row now for the American Ninja Warriors. So if you haven't seen her videos on Instagram or on Facebook, they're crazy. I watch them. I'm like, how does she do that? Some of these moves and things that she does. So she's clearly awesome. She's very fit. But the topic tonight is something that I think we all can relate to because we all have different fitness levels. We all have different places that we've started from. And that part, the fitness part isn't so as important tonight as it is the food aspect. And this is where I wanted Megan to talk to us because she has celiacs disease, for those of you that don't know. Her entire family is gluten-free, dairy-free, and peanut and almond-free. Is that right, Megan? So all those.
I'm almond-free. A couple of my kids drink almond milk, but okay. I found out I had almond allergy recently.
Okay. So I mean, if you think about that, feeding 4 kids and a husband with those restrictions, that can be like a feat all by itself. It's probably not very easy. So what I wanted Megan to talk about, I want her to introduce herself as far as how she got started with Beachbody, because it took her 2 years to finally say yes. And she kind of had an epiphany of how Beachbody would fit into her lifestyle and how she was eating. And I'm going to kind of turn it over to you, Megan, and kind of let you tell the story of how it all began.
All right, here I go. I actually wrote down some notes and my husband's like, why are you writing notes? This is your story. But I don't want to get sidetracked. So basically I've always been into fitness, but the nutrition piece came in back in 2009, right around 2009, 2010, my husband and I were doing CrossFit at our local CrossFit gym in St. Charles, and my husband wanted to do the paleo challenge. So that was, their big nutrition challenge, and I was like, I'm not doing it. Heck no. And so he wanted to do it, and so he's explaining it to me, and I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. Well, in the meantime, I'm trying to figure out diet for all of our kids. So at this time, our kids are ages 1, 3, 5, and 7. So I'm like a crazy lady, crazy mom. And, just trying to figure out like why I have a picky eater, why I have a child that's, not talking yet, busybody, into everything, why we're at the doctor's office for ear infections constantly, like the kids are sick. I was like, I need to figure out nutrition for these kids. So that was my main focus while my husband was doing the paleo challenge, which was awesome. So we were kind of like, it was cool because we were kind of on the same track, and I didn't even realize it until I started learning about what his paleo challenge was. And I'm looking at ingredients in our foods and trying to remove dairy for a couple of the kids. And then I started removing gluten and seeing all these changes in my family and their mood and behavior and skin and digestion and sensory and all kinds of issues. I mean, ear infections were just like suddenly cleared up because it's all inflammation. So these foods in our body, if they're sensitivities, it causes inflammation. And that could come out in all different kinds of ways. So I was learning about how it was reacting with our kids, and my husband's like losing a ton of weight doing this paleo challenge, feeling awesome. So then the next challenge comes around, and I was like, okay, I think I can wrap my head around this. I want to give it a try. So I went to the meeting, and I was so nervous to even go to the meeting at the CrossFit gym because I didn't want to look like someone that was like trying to lose weight, because I didn't have weight to lose. And so I didn't want to be like, oh, I want to lose more weight, because I thought that that's what this challenge was. And then I learned, just like our challenge groups, it's not, and not everyone has a weight loss goal, which is kind of cool. Like, my goal was just to like feed my body healthier and get healthy and help my kids get healthy. So, so I tried the challenge, and that's when we found out we had, like at the same time we were testing for gluten intolerance and, pulling dairy. And then I was doing all this allergy testing for the kids and for myself. And so we had one child with peanut allergy, one child with walnut allergy, dairy intolerance. And then I found out that I had peanut and almond allergy. So it was like, oh my gosh, like how are we going to feed everyone? And going gluten-free was like crazy hard for me. I was super overwhelmed because I was totally addicted to wheat thins, pretzels, bread, pizza, beer, going off dairy. I ate yogurt every single day, cheese and crackers. So it was definitely overwhelming. So as when I talked to Carrie actually a couple of days ago, I was telling her that you can get, well, like one of the points that I wanted to make for all of you guys is you can get your diet totally clean, or for your challengers, you can help them get their diet totally clean. But if it's causing them stress, so if it's adding like more stress in their life, then it's not going to work. So that's what I found out for myself. Doing all of this because I was trying to do it for myself and for the kids. And my husband was totally supportive. It took a lot out on me. So I was actually like, I was eating the cleanest I'd ever eaten, but paleo was not working for me because I was totally stressed. So I kind of learned, that was back in like 2010. So over the last 7 years, I've learned, what foods work for me. And that's actually helped me help my challengers try to figure out what foods work for them. So I know there's all this talk about Whole30. A lot of coaches right now are doing Whole30 challenges, like Whole30 plus Shakeology, which is totally cool. Actually, the creators of Whole30, Melissa and Dallas Hartwig, they actually came to CrossFit Tri-Cities where we were working out and did a nutrition workshop. That was like back in 2010 when Whole30, like their company used to be called Whole 9 Life. And then Whole30 was just taking off right around then. And it was really cool to hear them speak. And I learned so much. And it was just, it was very eye-opening that, you know, the book, some of you have read it, starts with food. And I know there have been a couple other books since then, but that one in particular really helps you learn like what is in our food and how it is affecting our bodies. And if you feel like your workouts and your foods are not working for you, like I would definitely recommend that, because you can figure out like what it is that's causing issues, or maybe keeping you at a plateau. Maybe all of a sudden you stop losing weight, or whatever goal that you're trying to reach. So I learned a ton, but like I said, I learned that paleo actually wasn't for me because it was actually just causing too much stress for me. So gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free works for me. But it has helped me help my challengers figure out what works for them. So any questions on that before I go on? I know it's like so overwhelming.
No, it's awesome. Megan, I do want you to add, because we talked about on the call, like when you and I got on the call, you were talking about Shakeology, the vegan Shakeology, and how you were still able to incorporate, because that's kind of key. Because I feel like the Whole30 book does say no Shakeology, but it does say, but take supplements. So I feel like you're the right person to talk to about how do you handle that objection, or how do you talk to your clients when they need to eliminate certain foods, but then they're being told, but only eat whole foods. So then how do you still handle those objections about taking Shakeology?
Okay. Good question. So actually that brings me to the point about how I was like totally resistant to join Beachbody, because after learning all of this stuff through CrossFit and through the nutrition workshop, I decided to become a health coach. So I went to, I forgot to tell you this, Carrie. I went through Institute of Integrative Nutrition. It was a year-long online program, and got a health coaching certification. And then I started running challenge groups. So just like we run our challenge groups. So I was running Whole30 challenge groups for several different CrossFit gyms. And then we moved to Naperville, and I met Agatha, and she had mentioned something about Beachbody, told me a little bit about it. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Well, I'm doing challenge groups too, and whatever. It wasn't really like an invite. It was just kind of like, oh, this is what I'm doing. And then the more I got to know her, and then I got to know Joey, and saw that they were doing Beachbody challenge groups and drinking Shakeology, I was like, oh, wow, that is kind of similar to what I'm doing. But my whole thing was like, why would I want to do that when I'm already eating clean? I'm trying to help, challengers eat clean. And the whole thing in Whole30 is no supplements. So I was totally anti-supplements, because actually a lot of them, as we know, a lot of them are not awesome like Shakeology. A lot of them have tons of junky fillers added to them. And it really it doesn't help people. It actually just makes them sicker. So, or they have these like magic fat burners, or I don't know what magic stuff they have in them. So then when I started looking into, so I was a total no, like no, Beachbody, no, not interested. And then one day I was like, maybe I should look into this product. And I started really looking at the ingredients, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are all like really good ingredients. And I was like such an ingredient snob, because I had to look at every single package of food for all of our allergies. And I was, I was amazed at how good the ingredients were. And I was actually surprised that they had a vegan option, because a lot of shakes are all whey protein, which if you're dairy free, you can't have whey protein. So then I was kind of like, ooh, I kind of want to try it. So anyway, after 2 years, then I was like, ooh, maybe I'm a yes. So then I did join Beachbody, and actually, honestly, that first month I was still kind of resistant, but when I started looking at Autumn's program with 21 Day Fix, I was like, oh my gosh, this can actually help all people. Like, the Whole30 challenges were so strict that people were just like, oh God. Like, I mean, when I would invite people, they would be like, no, I mean, for those of you who don't know, it's no grains, no dairy, no legumes. So that means all beans, all hummus are out, no sugar, no alcohol. I mean, totally strict, strict, strict. So a lot of people are like, no, no, this is not a good time, not good timing. Well, obviously, there's never a good time to quit all those awesome foods. But so I mean, I look at 21 Day Fix as like, it's not really that strict. So it's really just helping all people just learn how to fill their plate. And I love the portion control. It makes so much sense. And I learned for myself that drinking Shakeology every day, and now I'm going on 2.5 years, I feel like it has healed my gut. Going through having celiac and making a huge diet change was like a shock to my system. And having the superfoods in my body and having the probiotics on a daily basis, it's like made me feel better than I've ever felt. So that's what I tell my challengers. I actually currently have a customer who's thinking about trying the shake, and she's like, oh, well, I don't know if I can have it. I have celiac. And I said, and I know we're gonna have customers that have different dietary issues, or different restrictions, maybe from their doctor, which obviously they have to listen to their doctors. But the best thing that we can do for them is just say, everyone reacts differently. I mean, you can even use me as an example. One of our coaches has celiac disease. She does fine on the vegan shakes, but there's so many ingredients in our shakes. So even if it's not a gluten reaction, it could be a reaction from just any random ingredient. I mean, some people might be like allergic to just like one ingredient, or have an intolerance to one ingredient in the shake and get sick. So it's not, I mean, it's going to be different for every single person. And so we just have to kind of be aware of that. But I think if you were to run a Whole30, or if you had someone that wanted to go more strict on their diet, more strict than 21 Day Fix, I would first recommend 21 Day Fix Extreme diet plan, because if you look at that Autumn gives us her plan for her competition. So getting herself super cut for competition, she's actually eliminating dairy, and there's no dairy and there's no gluten on that plan. So she's super strict. I mean, she does a ton of fish, a ton of asparagus, but that would be a good plan to help people on. Or if they wanted to go elimination diet, then and you have experience with Whole30, then you can give it a try. But I would do Whole30 plus Shakeology. I wouldn't cut the Shakeology, because I think I mean, I think I missed one day and I was like the biggest crab. We forgot to bring it on our trip. I thought my husband brought it to Michigan, and he's like, I thought you packed it. I was so mad. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't miss a day, but that's just my addictive personality, I guess.
Too funny.
Okay, so that's my spiel about Shakeology. And then one more thing I wanted to share is, back to like the fitness part. So I love that Beachbody has so many programs to choose from. So before I joined Beachbody, I was trying to get people on board with what I was doing. So I was like, CrossFit, I love CrossFit. You got to do CrossFit. And people my age were like, no, I'm not doing CrossFit. Like, I'm so intimidated. I don't want to do that. Well, that was just because it was something I love doesn't mean that that's what everyone wants to do. I don't know. That's just kind of me. Like, those are the things I like. I really like, challenging types of workouts. So Beachbody has really helped me help challengers find what they love. So, because it doesn't have to be my thing. They don't have to love insanity. They don't have to do American Ninja Warrior training. If they love it, awesome. But if not, maybe they'd prefer more of like a yoga type workout or a dance type workout. So it's really cool that we have like so many things to choose from. And it's just, it just makes it so easy to help so many types of people. And I think that's it. That's all I have.
That's cool. Does anyone have any questions so far from what she's talked about? Because I know, did somebody raise their hand? Sorry. Okay, I thought Cassie did. No. I have a couple of things I wanted you to touch on just because I recently ran my first ever, I called it Find Your Fit and the Whole 30-ish bit. So I knew it wasn't like totally Whole 30 because I was doing Shakeology. And it kind of brought out a couple of like, I want to call them kind of Whole 30 cult people, like where they were like, you're drinking Shakeology, you're the devil, and it was seriously like, whoa, where is this coming from? And I explained to my group, like I was very open about it. I talked about it openly, and I actually got my ideas from Katie Ersta, who is a very top, she's awesome. If you guys don't follow Katie Ersta, she's a top coach. She's a cancer survivor. And she talked about Whole 30 and drinking Shakeology and how it really, really helped her. So I guess my question, Megan, if you had somebody say, well, Whole 30 recommends not drinking Shakeology, how would you handle that objection? Like you being a certified health, or I guess, like nutrition person, what would you say to them? Because I kind of have my spiel that I say, but what would you say just to see if it's the same?
I would say, even what I would say with like 21 Day Fix, like if there's something that you feel is making you healthier, that the whole point of doing any of these, like, diet plans, like, is the point to follow the rules or is the point to make your body healthy? So if you believe that the ingredients in Shakeology are making your body healthier, then why would you remove that? I would only recommend removing it if you are doing a total elimination and you want to see if like maybe there is something in your shake that is causing a reaction. I know we've had challengers that maybe they've been on the regular Shakeology and haven't felt so good, so we recommend the vegan. I always recommend the vegan anyways, but so just knowing that, I remember, when I ran paleo challenge groups, they were like, I got to the point where I like didn't call them paleo challenges because there were people in the group that were like, well, cavemen didn't technically eat that. And then they got so hung up in are potatoes paleo or are they not paleo? And there were some books that said they were and some books that said they weren't. And, way back, like when I started, like back in 2010, like it was like no potatoes at all. And then as the years went on, then it was like, oh, well, you can do sweet potatoes. And then now, like all the paleo people say, like potatoes are totally fine. So it's just, research obviously is changing and they're looking into different things and how it reacts in people's bodies. The whole point of this is to remove foods that cause inflammation because inflammation leads to disease. So, so if you're someone that always has a stuffy nose, then you probably have something reacting in your body. Because our bodies should function perfectly. Our bodies are made to just like like heal themselves. So if you're always reacting, or if you're always, if your skin's always breaking out, or if you're always bloated, or if you're always something, or have different ailments, then a lot of times it is food. Sometimes it's environment. Sometimes it's a combination of both. And what stinks for us is we could be eating totally healthy, and it could be just what's sprayed on our foods. So that's the bummer in the whole thing, because we try so hard, but you just never know what's being hidden in our foods. So yeah, back to your answering your question, I would say I would leave it up to them. Like, it's their choice, and for like a Whole30 challenge, it's 30 days. So I would just say I'm keeping it in my plan, but maybe leave it up to them to decide.
Cool. Joey had a quick question. She said, were you tested to figure out your allergies and aversions, or was it an elimination diet that helped you?
Elimination diet helped me figure out dairy and gluten. And then we actually did testing through like an online testing system called EnteroLab. So you can go to the website, it's enterolab.com. And that's a really cool site. I haven't been to it lately, but they send you a kit, and they can actually test. I think there's even more on there now, but back when we did it, you can test for gluten and dairy. And I think there's a bunch of different ones you can test for. But we did do the blood test for celiac, and that, if any of you have, gone through that, there's a lot of research saying that that's not really accurate, the blood test. So we didn't show up on the blood test for celiac, but on the online test, we did show up for it. So I think it's interesting. I mean, I think you really do have to see like how your body feels. I never actually felt like I had any issues with food until I eliminated and brought it back in.
That's
so
awesome.
You do learn a lot from that. And then food allergies, like the nuts, that was a skin test, food allergy test. So allergies and intolerances are different things.
Thank you. So, I mean, I guess the point of all of this is everybody's different. So what works for one person isn't going to work for another person. If somebody's on 21-day fix, and Megan and I talked about this, and they've been doing multiple rounds and they're stuck, they're plateaued, maybe suggest to them, why don't you try eliminating dairy? Pick one of the foods, eliminate that one first, see how you feel. So, I mean, we're not nutritionists, so you can't give somebody nutrition advice unless you're certified like Megan or you have a certification. Don't get caught up in giving nutritional advice or making meal plans that are outside of what Beachbody already has to offer, because we don't want anyone getting in trouble, or, it would just be bad. But I think the whole point is, and what I want, because I feel like everything's kind of going into the Chalene Johnson's beta test. It's awesome. If you follow her on Snapchat, she talks a lot about low carb, high fat diet, and the ketone or whatever it's called, like blanking out. But I mean, the ketogenic. So I think, and you guys, if I had to take a wild guess, I feel like, because I'm in a group where it's 5-star diamonds and above, and it's got a lot of corporate people in there. And there's a lot of talk right now about, is there going to be a new meal plan? Is there going to be a low carb, high fat meal plan that will be implemented? And I've noticed a couple, I don't know if you follow Foodie Girl Fitness, or I think that's it. She's on Snapchat. I think Agatha would know. But she has purple hair, if you guys know who I'm talking about. And I think she's doing a beta test for a new meal plan. So I'm super excited to see if it's something on the lines of Whole30 or high fat, low carb type of a diet. Because I think everybody thrives differently, just like Megan said. And the other point that I wanted to make in line with all this, and one thing that works for me really, really well, yes, she's doing some kind of a test I heard her talk about on Snapchat. And Amy Silverman. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll find out soon. Is when I talk to people about Shakeology, and what seems to, and this has actually been documented in the JAMA. It's the Journal for American Medical Associates, I think. Megan, you might know about that. Shay Stanford talked about how even if you're eating the cleanest, healthiest diet ever, you're eating greens and you're eating organic, because of the quality of our food and the soil, the depletion of minerals over time, all of that, we're still not getting the nutrients that our body needs. So when I talk about Shakeology and how it kind of fills that gap, people are like, oh, that totally makes sense. So it's kind of good to know this information and be able to speak knowledgeably about that, because people that have objected, like, oh, I don't need supplements, I eat really healthy, I eat clean, I take Centrum, I take a Centrum Silver. And I'm like, oh God, don't tell me that. And that's like where you have that information and you can talk genuinely, like you sound knowledgeable. And if you do educate yourself, you'll know that like a Centrum Silver is so processed and compacted, and you're basically taking it and you're pooping it right out. Your body's not even absorbing the nutrients. So when you tell them about Shakeology and how your body assimilates all the nutrients and all of that, that's where people are going to be like, oh, give me some of that. That's what I need. So I just wanted to add that in, because I've been personally able to overcome a lot of objections with nutrition, talking about that aspect of it. And I feel like it aligns with what Megan's saying. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Oh.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So Megan, I'm curious so you were a health coach before you became a Beachbody coach, right?
Yes.
How do you balance both those roles? Like, do you have just your health coach clients that don't use any Beachbody products, or do you kind of intertwine them, or how does that work?
I just switched completely to Beachbody.
Okay.
So when I joined Beachbody, it was kind of my like, I'm just gonna switch it up and open my eyes to something new and see what happens.
Okay.
So I just like jumped right in, and it was hard, but I was like, I just kept telling myself like I have to be open to the change, because I felt like I was so narrow-minded. It's like so like CrossFit, paleo, like
Okay.
I don't want anything else. And so I had to like really just keep telling myself I need to open my eyes to it because it'll help more people. And I'm still here. So 2.5 years. Yeah. So
Okay. Thank you.
sure.
Right. And Joey just said, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. That's so true. And that's yeah. Go ahead, Megan.
That was my quote when I started. Joey remembers that.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. I love it. It's so true. And I think that's why, we have so many different workout programs, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to say, okay, this is where you should start. 21-day fix. It'll get you going. And then you can pick a new program. So they're always changing it up. They're always challenging their body, doing different things. And I think that's something super special that we have as coaches, that we have so much to offer, so many different options for all these different people. So. All right, cool. Anything else to add, Megan? Anything else coming to mind that you are
No, I think I talked your ear off.
I love it. I think it was awesome. Anyone else? No? Before we end the call? Amelia.
I may have missed this when I was in the bathroom when you were talking earlier. Do you give your children Shakeology?
I do. I tried it when we first started. I tried it with all of them. And I'd make a shake and split it between all 4 of them. And then I started getting nervous about the peanut warning. And even though I have peanut and almond allergy, but I feel like I'm an adult and I know when my throat feels funny, and I never actually had a reaction like my daughter did. So I don't give it to my daughter that has peanut allergy. Because I think on the bag it says made on shared equipment, so that just nervous. And then I don't really give it too much to my little guy who's 7. My daughter who's 13 has it every morning, which thank the Lord because at least she's getting something healthy in her body. I love that. Like, I love making her shake in the morning, and it's like, there you go, drink it up. And it's just like, I love it because she needs it. And then my son, who's in 5th grade, he was having it for a while, and I felt like he was having negative reaction to it. I felt like he was turning into a grump because of it. So I told him, and I think it was because it was actually making him digest. It was actually working. But I was like, I can't deal with him. So, but then he was like super excited that vanilla and cafe latte came out, and he's like, I can't wait to try. I'm like, okay. So he does half a shake. And actually, I've been noticing, I keep finding shaker bottles everywhere. So I think he's having one every day after school. And it's totally helping him. So I think adjusting the amounts kids are little. So, a full scoop, I think, is just a lot to handle for a little body.
Yeah, I give Van, he asks for it every day. He's been drinking it since he could have solids, but I just give him like a teaspoon when he was really little, or not even. But yeah, all of my kids drink it. My daughter and my son, if I didn't have that, they probably would never have breakfast before school because they just don't have it together in the morning. I'm always like, here's your shake, go.
I do give it to Lila, and she doesn't get it liquid because it's too thick to go down her tube, but I mix it in baby food like bananas or whatever. I give her a half a scoop, and she does have a class 2 peanut allergy.
Oh,
and she does, and hasn't ever had any. I didn't even think about it when I first gave it to her. So
Darren Oline talks about that too. I mean, I know like on the bag it says it has to have the warning because the FDA, it's just legal reasons, right? Like consult your doctor, all of that has to be there per legal. But there's a really good video where he talks about the facility where it's actually made and how he goes over how they clean and the process of actually cleaning the air and like the whatever they use. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's pretty fascinating because the chances of cross-contamination is so low based off of the information that he was giving. But because it's still made in that same facility, they have to put that warning on there. But I was like, oh, that makes sense why so many people that do have allergies, and even severe ones sometimes, and I'm not saying everyone, like we should just be promoting it to people that have like major peanut allergies, but if I can find that video, I will share it with you guys. But you guys, it's 9:37, so we're over a few minutes. Thank you so much, Megan. It was awesome. Very informing. Thank you for your time. It was awesome because I learned a lot just listening to you talk about it. Just kind of ties it all together, like all the different ways that people can be helped. And if anyone has any questions, I'm sure Megan would be happy to answer them. So this call will be uploaded and I will share it probably tomorrow morning in the team pages. Okay. All right, you guys. Thanks, everyone. Bye.